And we are live. Welcome back to On the King's Salt podcast. Down 1-2 in the series against Perth. We're here to break down game 2 and 3 and talk about game 4. But first, we're going to shout out our Facebook and our Twitter. I've been on Twitter, getting some salt out there. It's pretty good.
Getting the salt in.
Hence the On the King's Salt title for tonight. Don't forget we are on YouTube. Check us out, like, share, and subscribe on Facebook and YouTube. And we're gonna start talking about Corona, man. A new era of domestic basketball. Aren't we glad that the season's coming to an end and we're not a sport that's about to start our season having to worry about this stuff.
Yeah, a sport that can potentially go bust because there is no season and people go get paid. And yeah, man, it's pretty crazy that life as we know it's pretty much on a hold. And A-League's going to be played behind closed doors. NRL's going to be pretty much bankrupt by the end of this. AFL's only playing 17 rounds maximum now. It's just nuts.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Like, I mean, we're right on the up crest of the wave at the moment in terms of this whole situation. We're really very early on. We've already seen the NBA shutting down. I think the NBA is going to be all right. They've got enough money. They've got enough sort of footprint to really galvanize. But there's going to be a few of these sports. If, 6 months down the track, we're still not playing live sport, I think that we're going to see a few sports kind of fold or go dormant for periods of time. We've already seen the NRL sort of saying, I don't think we can afford to play a whole season without any fans, which is pretty scary. Like, it's things you don't think about when, like today I turned on the thing and I'm like, oh yeah, there's no sport on. Like this sucks. It's kind of weird, but it sucks.
No, and there's not going to be sport on for ages, ages and ages. And when it does, it's kind of like it's atmosphereless. There's no home crowd. Like it's just people running through the motions and playing for their team instead of fans make sport. It's kind of just pointless watching a whole bunch of people run around a park while you're at home and they're just there. It's almost like watching the women's A-League or whatever it is, the W League. It's kind of just pointless.
Hey, the women's T20 got 80,000 at Melbourne. That was pretty crazy.
That's why I said the W League and not the T20 final.
That's all right. I just made sure you you
got
the right sport going on there.
Yeah, but that's Melbourne. They'll watch Melbourne play in the basketball. Who'd want to do that? Just.
But it was to go all the way back to the lead up to game 2. Perth on the plane with someone diagnosed. Like, even that is just like, whoa, like that's pretty crazy, man. When you get off a plane ready to play a game 2 in a series and they're just like, yeah, someone on that plane had corona. It's like, whoa, jeez, man.
Yeah, man, and look at all the people like Peter Dutton who got it, and all the people around him on the plane got it, and then Rudy Gobert was touching everyone, and he gave it to Donovan Mitchell, and now they're fighting. And then John, what do you call it? What's his name? Christian Wood.
Oh yeah, I saw some tweet or something where it was like, oh man, he's so soft. Why is he giving everyone corona or something?
Yeah, so apparently, he played a full game on Rudy, defending Rudy, and got coronavirus. So.
Yes, nuts, man. When you think about it, like it's just such a bizarre thing to think about. Sport as we know it. We're at the back end of this season. This grand final has been weird, and we'll get onto the games. But like talking about the lead up to this game, like if to get back to what it felt like, what's the point? Like, what's the point of playing the rest of this series with no fans? You just kind of like the gas got taken out of me leading up to that Friday game. I was just like, what's the point? Like, and then you start thinking like society itself could break down here. Like, then what's the point? Like, you know what I mean? What's the point of in a year there might not even be any sport? So you start thinking about that sort of stuff, but yeah.
Could be like America. So we've only banned gatherings of 500 people here. In America, they've banned gatherings of 50.
Yeah.
So if that was to be implemented this week, the grand final wouldn't go ahead. And it's kind of like, Perth win 2-1 based on the games that they've played. And it's just like, well, what a pointless season. Like, it was all that. It never went to the 5-game series. It was played in front of no fans. So Perth, got just as much, the wrong end of the stick as Sydney did. And it's just stupid. They should have just postponed it and said, right, we'll play, we'll postpone it to a later date when people can actually sit in the stadium. But I think they want to finish this season on a high and actually have something to watch on the weekend, as most other leagues around the world kind of close their doors and stop playing altogether.
Yeah, so the lead up, and then you start thinking about society in general, moving through to the what's the point of it? Like, what's the point of playing a finals with no fans? I mean, they've got a big sort of fan presence. We've had games this season where the fans have got us through at home too. The fans are a big part, obviously, for Perth. They've got a great history, with their fans really kind of driving their team along. We've got a particularly young fan base. You and I have been out to the games, and our fan base isn't as crazy heavy as the Perth fan base. Like, we've got a lot of kids that go to our games, but still, the atmospheres this season have drawn our team out and pushed our team along. Especially when guys like JT are firing, getting the crowd wound up. Casper, we'll talk about him soon, but Casper's just died. Like, I know fans might get him some more, a little bit more on the offensive end. But I think, yeah, going into that game too, it just felt like it was all a bit pointless. Like emotions were swirling, things were getting locked down, and then we ended up playing that game too, and it was like a bonus for us in their arena.
Yeah, it was. I think that it was a fantastic game from a Sydney perspective. We just dominated. Bogut dominated Plumley, and Lish dominated the game. Man, aren't we glad Lish is back to full form? Like, he is just phenomenal. And I think that the cotton heavy game plan didn't work that game. And I've always said this about Perth, man. If they get on a roll, they're a shooting team. Like, shooters going to shoot. They're a roll team, and they'll blow teams out of the water just based on having a good shooting night. But it's not a consistent style of basketball. So I didn't know if it would go the full 5-game series, and it hasn't. Game 2, they didn't play as well. They didn't shoot as well. Cotton didn't score any points in the last quarter.
Neither did K.
Neither did K, and that's their two scorers of the team. Damian Martin had a better series and shot the ball a little bit better than he has all season. Steindl's such a jammy word.
I don't know. Against Sydney, he just seems to shoot the ball so well. It's just, I don't understand. Like, every time he shoots the ball, he's just like, oh, it's going down. And it's like cotton, nothing but cotton as well. And just like, what? Get out of here, man.
So look, game 2 they were off, game 1 they were on. Although we should have won game 1. We had so many opportunities to win or to tie it and to take it into overtime and win it there, but that was bricked by Casper Ware so badly. Game 2 was much better. He didn't try to shoot the 3-ball, although he did kind of go nuts towards the end, and he ended up pretty bad. But we've got to talk about that elephant in the room, man, because you could almost say he's single-handedly costing us the series. With his terrible choice of shots, the brick city that he was 1 from 21 from beyond the arc for this series.
Yeah, so it was 1 of 14 in game 1. Sorry, if you were talking about 3, it was none of 10 from 3 in game 1, and then in game 2 he was none of 4. So he put it away in game 2. Was like, I'm just not going to shoot it. And then in game 3, 1 of 9. Just wants to keep shooting it. Part of me is just sitting here going, yeah, all right, dude, just shoot. Like, what? Like, it's gone like Ben Simmons, like, you know what I mean? Where you're just like, it's weird now. This is weird. Like, it's not a slump. He's not getting defensively dominated. It's just he's in his own head. He's got the yips, and it's a weird stage. So I guess how do you get out of that until you start seeing the ball go down? Really,
we don't. That's something you work off in the off season. You've got to put that shit away to win a final series. If you're in the regular season, man, yeah, shoot your little heart out. Play some garbage time, get the shots up. But this is strategic. You got to win these games, and shooting 1 of 9 is essentially losing us games. I think he had a better game 2. He put the ball away, facilitate a little bit more. Some of his terrible chemistry with Bogut was on show this whole series, with some terrible lobs, woeful passing, running into Bogut, not fighting around screens correctly. It looks bad, man. 29, 30 games into a series, and he's still not really gelling, and it's not there. And I suppose you have to look at Randall and Bogut, and although they didn't get along, they kind of had okay chemistry on the floor. You look back on it, it was still better than what was produced this season. Bogut's obviously had a better final series than he had regular season. pretty much single-handedly winning game 2, I think, from a defensive and scoring standpoint. And that didn't translate into game 3, but maybe with a good rest period this week, you can get it back up to for game 4 and take one back, so that at least it's a sudden death match for the game 5. But Casper's got to be put away, and he's got to be benched. Really, like some game 3, man, not fighting around those screens. The amount of times Cotton got open from a slip screen or a down screen, and then they'd tag team Cotton, and then Nick Kay would just be open, and they'd let him shoot. Like, dude's not Damian Martin. The dude has an ugly ass shot, but he's accurate as anything.
Yeah, he can shoot the ball. I really like Nick Kay. We'll get on to him, but we'll go back to Bogut. That game, like, it was obvious, I thought, in that game too, that Perth didn't have an answer for him as a scorer. If you put him in these situations where we were setting this stuff off ball, spreading the floor, and then sort of giving it to Bogut, where he was looking for these handoffs, and then he'd just be like, "Oh, sweet, I just got a lane 1-on-1 to the defender and on the defender," and he's just going to the hole. And that's basically where he's so dangerous. But I was saying after the game, I'm thinking, how long can he do this in a series? Short turnaround to game 3. The real worry is all season there's just been barely any chemistry, pick and roll chemistry from Bogut, like rolling to the rim, guys not really knowing where to stand. Bogut still wants to stand at the elbow, and after he screens a guy, he'll still only get to the elbow. And it's like a struggle, man. And with Casper, I think it's hurting him. Like, I'm trying to, like, we'll get our unload on Casper out of the way, but still I'm trying to think of positives for him, man. And if he's not, like, he's going inside and just getting crushed inside. Like, he hasn't shot barely any free throws in this series at all, and he's getting trucked a fair bit inside. So I can understand why you don't go inside if you're a player that's just like, well, my shot's gone, I'm trying to go inside, I'm getting trucked, like, what do I do? And that's kind of compounding it. But really, like, needs to get out there and start, like, calling up Bogut and being like, let's set some picks, let's run some action that gets people open. Like, that's the real worry, is that he's not diming the ball up, getting assists. He's kind of just off ball leading to nothing, and then he's
not a passer.
Yeah.
He's made his career being a shoot first point guard. So how do you go to a dime first point guard? I've typically shot at around about 34-35% from 3 my entire career, and it's been about volume. I've shot 1 of 24 while shooting under 30% in the regular season. And I have and some of the lob passes and some of the lane passes from him have been terrible. What do you do? This isn't a slump. This is a get him out of the game. Get him against a second unit. Get him against a Mitch Norton that he can potentially bully. I think Damian Martin's a too smart a defender for him in the start, and he kind of gets locked down. Put the 3 ball away for the time being. We were just laughing before the cast when that ball went to that corner, and Casper's, they were like, no, don't shoot,
yeah.
don't. Oh.
And it was like about 6 or 7 seconds before he was going to get it too. You're just like, oh, that's Casper in the corner. No, don't pass it to him. Oh no. And then even he shot it come off the side of the backboard. He was just like, oh. But I still, like, I want to see some positives, right? I like the fact that he was getting the ball in game 2, going inside a little bit in that third quarter, and that kind of drove us on. Like, JT has been really, like, he's been great. He's been our best player in this series. But he doesn't thrive on the playmaking of our team. You know what I mean? Like, he thrives in broken play. Basically, we can dump him the ball, and he's just like, oh, sweet, I'm 1-on-1 with my defender. I can, like, source a move up and score.
He's 2-on-1, or he's 3-on-1 with his defenders and still scores.
But it's broken in
Let's just blow smoke up JT's ass for a bit, because I think it's important.
Yeah,
I watch a lot of NBA, and I watch a lot of NBL, and I've never seen a 6'4" guy finish the way he does. Ever have I seen a 6 around the rim. Not a shooting, but getting the ball from the stripe or the arc, and just be like, yeah, I'm getting to the hoop and no one's going to stop me here, and it's going to be from within 3 feet. Like, not even Ben Simmons has that ability to isolate 2 people with the post moves that he has. I've just never seen it. I have never seen it.
And it's like I keep saying it. It's footwork based. It's body position based, And it's like he's never in a rush, man, at the rim. Like he's never in a position where he's just having to toss up a prayer. Like he's always like, my foot's landed here, my body's here. I know I've got my hip to check you, and I can just lay the ball in. The problem is like you can't set those situations up. Like you
No.
can't go, oh, here's my offense. We're going to run JT to here. He's going to be able to do this. Like it just happens kind of in the flow of the offense, and I think that doesn't really help Casper in terms of he's off ball, he's getting checked a lot. He doesn't really make those Bryce Cotton cuts. Like we'll talk about Cotton,
No.
he's been fantastic in this series, and it'll get a bit salty a bit later when we talk about the refs. But he's so slight, he's so quick, and he's so able to move around those screens. Whereas Casper's a little bit beefier. I think they're about the same height, aren't they? About 6'1", 6'2", both of them.
Dude, Bryce Cotton's 5'10".
Is he? Damn, that's
He's
why
actually
he's so quick.
He's actually, I think he's 5'9.5", and Casper's 5'10.5".
Oh, they're
So-
under 6 foot. I did not know that. I've been watching
They're
them the entire season. I didn't even know both of them were under 6 foot.
Randall's only 5'8".
Yeah, I know. But that's like people were sort of saying today, like, oh, bring Randall back. I'm like, no, the defensive issues were just unassailable, man, getting around those defensive. Like Casper admittedly guarded Goulding last series really well. Like that's a guy who he guarded well. He's trying on Cotton, but I just look at this and go, I don't think anyone else is going to do a better job on him. Like he's so slight, he's so quick. You throw Diddy at him, and then he just gets fouls. Like the bigger guys who can smother him, he can be quicker than, he can put his body into and get fouls. And that's a real problem. And Will Weaver said it after this press conference, after Game 3, that they've got to stop fouling him. He's just getting to the line so much. And they've fouled him like 26 times in the series. But I still think, man, probably over half of those are just like tippy-tappy garbage that if it wasn't Cotton, like I would just go, oh, it's a series, you know, this is what it is. There's this here and there, guys getting to the rim, got refs are missing. But when you play it, like when Newley's getting to the rim and he's getting crunched, and then you go back down the other end and you just see Cotton get a soft touch foul, you're kind of going like, let's like what's this? Let's even this up. Let's try and call this game properly. I think it's amplified the fact that he can just get around screens so well. Casper's kind of much more nuggety and solid, and he's not as quick as Cotton. And then if any player is trailing him, like he gets fouls for nothing, and he's a jump shooter, predominantly a jump shooter too. He's not even at the rim, so it's something that as a team, I can sit there and go, how do you solve that puzzle? Like, what do you do? Like, if he's just getting so many fouls, like I don't know, understand. Like, you push up on him, he gets fouls. You let off him, he knocks down shots.
I think they did some intelligent things. I think a lot of what they're doing is daring Damian Martin to shoot, which is, I think, a very sensible idea. Just paying him no respect.
And he's knocked a few down.
But that's fine. You know, fair enough. You're wide open. You're a professional basketball player. You should knock them down at least 30%. And so they've come over the double team. But that Game 3, man, they left Nick Kay open so many times, and the dude can play. Like
he can shoot.
He can shoot the ball. He's one of the best players in the league by far. He's an all NBA first team. NBL first team. Sorry.
NBA.
That's it. Yeah, NBA. All NBL first team. I mean, his shot's ugly as anything, but it's accurate.
Yeah, he's been fantastic this year for Perth. I think he's probably their second best player quite easily, and probably the second best player in this series. In Game 2, he didn't play that well. 7 of 15. Had a little bit of foul trouble. Struggles with JT on him, but obviously in that Game 3, they worked out basically that Newley was helping to smother Cotton, and then they were just like, right, we'll just put Kay on Newley, and every time Brad Newley steps up and helps on Cotton, Kay's wide open. And I noticed that in the second quarter. I was like, right, one time's enough. Stop doing that. But we just kept doing it, and time again. And in the third quarter, I'm just like, stop double teaming with Newley off of Kay. Like, stop doing it. Like, somebody's got to step out there and just go, no, enough. Like, stop doing that. It's not working. And that's one thing that, you know, really kind of annoyed me in Game 3 is, like, Will Weaver's a really good coach. He coached that Game 2 really well. Basically went to a lot of Bogut in the lane, like clearing out space. Then in Perth in Game 3, kind of spread the floor a little bit more. Didn't fall for that Bogut in space. I think Bogut's, you know, off a short turnaround, you kind of, like, I was looking at that just going, man, I don't think he can do it for the rest of this series on these short turnarounds. Like, I would look to see him bounce back in Game 4. But it was a worry, man. And that's where the lack of chemistry, to draw it all back to Casper, that's where the lack of chemistry, man, just to get Bogut easy buckets, like double drags, you know, running just conventional pick and roll straight. Like, Perth haven't even seen that at all in this series. If we would have run that, They have nothing to defend that. Like we saw
No.
Plumlee couldn't defend it. Like Majok, blocked a couple of shots, but he blocked JT and Brad Newley. Like that's not blocking Bogut. We saw that massive dunk from Bogut. That was an absolutely gigantic dunk. And that was when I went, they can't stop him. Like they can't stop him. Anything trailing to the hoop down, like going downhill to the hoop, Bogut's going to score every time over the top of these guys. Like you saw, I think it was K Norton and Plumlee all just kind of go like this. And it was like his hand was like a full 2.5 feet above them. 2.5 feet?
Yeah.
No, probably about 16 inches above those. And it was obvious that those three were like can't defend that. So I'm just a bit annoyed that they didn't go to that in game 3. I really want to see them, run double drags for Bogut. Bogut slips. Like we didn't identify. There was one to start that game 2 where Bogut sort of came back through underneath. He wasn't even looking, and then kind of turned and looked. And the ball was there, and like it hit him, and he had to and then and you just 30 games into a season, we can't get these smooth, he comes under the basket like off a pin down and can get just one touch lefty, like painful. And I still think it's partly Cotton, but it's partly Bogut as well. But I guess
is as well. And you know what? I think this game we need to talk about the kick it in the room here. Kick it on Plumlee. Plumlee's got too much size on kick it, and he's too mobile for kick it. So you kind of Bogut's the only one who can defend him. Kick it hasn't been utilised at all this series very well. Hasn't knocked down, but they've been quite contested shots. He hasn't had the same open shots that he did, during the regular season, and hasn't been effective at all. So how do we utilise kick it better? I think you need to put him on the floor as a stretch 4. Make him work over K, put JT in the small forward position, and then you have a reason to drive and kick, which Casper Ware can do successfully, drive and kick, and you've got that mismatch on K because kick at 6'10", K is what, 6'7", 6'8", and you've got that mismatch that you can shoot over.
I think he's 6'10", I think K.
K 6'10"? Let's
Google that. 206. I can only do feet and inches. 6'9".
6'9", yeah.
But he plays way above his size, man. He could easily play small ball center, and he's got the skills too. And defensively, he can run him around a little bit, but it's not a high value strategy. You know what I mean?
We've got to do something to get some 3-ball going for kick it because there's just nothing happening at all.
Yeah, it's a real struggle. Norton fouling out in game 2 was, I expect to see that every game. Like every game, Norton on JT. Like Norton's just scratching him, clawing him, cannot defend him physically. Yet we're seeing JT rack up these fouls for nothing, and he fouled out in game 3. Like it should just be Norton have 5 fouls every game. Like, sorry, you can't be out there defending JT and then be getting fouls. Like I don't understand. Like I understand Wagstaff and JT got into it a couple of times, and Wagstaff and Luzardo, there was an arm hook that I thought was an unsportsmanlike. I thought pretty much every time anyone hooked someone's arm and pulled them down, that was unsportsmanlike. We saw that all through the season, but in the finals we're not calling those. But the thing is, just JT is just getting mauled, and even Newley's getting mauled down low and just getting absolutely nothing.
So is Cooks. Cooks is going in for 5 rebounds and getting punched in the face half the time.
He caught one in the face in game 3. Yeah,
it's absurd. Like the amount of time that Cooks gets the ball and smacking arms, and he's calling it. They're like you can see it on the replays, but the refs are so short they can't see up that high. That's the problem. I think all these like gnome garden refs that what's the little fat one? He's got to be about 5'3".
5'3", jeez.
He's a gnome. He's a gnome.
Yeah, that's the other thing too is like again we've said they've got to stop telling people, like telling the players, no mate, like this is what happened, and then you just go to slow-mo replay and it's just like that's just a foul. Like you just see him go like that and it's a foul, and then they're like, nah mate, he didn't hit you, and I'm like, just don't mic the guys, please. Like they're getting these calls wrong. And then they're telling the players like they got it right. Then you watch the replay and it's just the wrong call. And you just like, stop miking these guys up, man, because it just makes it even more infuriating.
How funny is it that you can hear Trevor Gleeson now just whinge the whole game?
That's brutal, man. That is brutal. I can imagine, man, that'd be like me as a coach if I was coaching because I'd do the same thing. Foul, foul, foul. How long? How long? Just, oh, man, it's a struggle. I had to turn it down. I couldn't handle it too. And they had sounds of the game. I clicked on it just thinking, oh, this would be sweet to watch, sounds of the game. And there was just Gleeson at the start. And I was like, oh, get off Get off me. Go away. Look, I don't
The
want
best one is game 3. All you hear is Rodney O going defense.
clap, clap, clap. Shout out Rodney O, man. He's been a trooper all season. He's the only guy in there making atmosphere. But yeah, game 2. Anything else? Like that was such a good win, man. I was so happy after that win. I was like, right, we're back in this series. Like this is on.
Yeah,
Like Bogut, we're just everything. Like Casper needed to watch that Curry Bogut chemistry compilation and just be like, this is what I need to do. Like basically, I just need to run Bogut off these double drags, and he's going to get to the hoop pretty much every time. I just toss lobs, and he's going to get 20 points on 12 looks, 10 of 12 every time.
Oh no,
we didn't see any of that in game 3. It was just, and Bogut, I said, man, can't back up.
No, and Plumlee can. I think Plumlee's fit enough, and
And admittedly, Plumlee was awful in game 2, and then in game 3, yeah, look, got a couple of like open lanes and a couple of chalky finishes, and suddenly we're just like, whoa, Plumlee, yeah, you know what I mean? And he's just like, 13 points.
No, he's not great, but he's better than some. Put it that way.
But suddenly we're like, oh no, it's like, oh no, like really, it should just be like, yeah, that's great, mate. 13 points on 6 of 8. Like here's Bogut. Yeah, but we didn't do that. Like we kind of just went, oh no, like what do we do, guys? And I was just like, don't worry about it, just Bogut. No, 28 minutes, just keep lobbing it up to him. No, we're not going to, none of that. Okay, what do we do then? Man, that is just that game. Just thinking about that game was just infuriating. Just watching, because we went down, I think we were down by 20 at one stage. But I always felt like, nah, we can come back into this. Like, it didn't feel like one of those games where it's just like, and I'm turning it off. Like that Melbourne game.
Yeah.
But, and we got all the way back, and it was smart play. It was rhythm offense. Like we were getting stops that leading to transition, getting baskets, and then we just went to just jacking up threes again. And you're just like, oh, stop jacking up threes. It's crazy. 8 of 33 on the night, 24%. Just stop jacking up threes. 1 of 9 for Casper, 1 of 5 for Diddy. Diddy still looks like he's struggling, man. He still looked like he was running a bit slow as well, like running a bit like wary about his back. We didn't see any pick and roll with Bogut, any wide open lanes for Bogut. Casper Ware trying to get to the hole, 4 of 11, just trucked, man. Like I haven't seen a guy not get calls in my lifetime in the NBL, watching the NBL. Just a guy that'll just be like, you know what, I'll just go to the hole and just like bang, like no, nothing, okay,
Yeah. Well, Randall last season got trucked a fair bit as well, and probably a little bit better finishing around the rim, Randall, than Ware, just terrible on defense.
And admittedly, like Ware likes to put his body into the defender, which I'm like, 50-50, you're going to get refs sort of going, yeah, no, you're throwing your body at the defender, so I'm going to let you do that and then not give you those. And I'm like, okay. But then again, you put it back to Cotton, and you're just like, this guy just keeps getting fouls for nothing. And he's not even at the rim. Like, he's a shooter, like a jump shooter, where, like, that's what annoys me. Like, that's the part that annoys me. And people are like, oh, but Brad Newley fouled a guy back here. And I'm like, that's not the point. Like, if you put it in the context of one guy getting these calls, like, at least give the calls at the other end that are actual calls. Like, we can't go missing calls when we're giving the other guy some protection, which I'm like, all right, fair enough. If we're, we were double teaming Cotton, we were quite physical with him in game 2. Didn't feel like either team was like overly physical, where to the point where like, oh, they're just really physical. Like I thought both teams fought really hard in game 1 and game 2. In game 3, it was again like he just got a few touch fouls where he just like after guy like Newley went to the rack and got crunched, and then Cotton gets that foul. It must be so deflating, man, when you're out on the court.
Yeah, it is, and you can see that they're just it's infuriating when Cotton literally is not even driving to the rim, just putting up a floater and getting fouled. Clearly not even touched, and just like, yeah, foul. Oh, he didn't get that in. That must be a foul.
And he's had 3 3-point fouls too in this, and hit. So he could have had like an extra 3 lots of 3 free throws, but I think he's hit all 3 of them. Spawny bastard.
Yeah. Well, typically if you're fouling someone on the 3-point line, they don't make the shot. The fact that he made the shot typically means that there's no contact. And that's...
And he's been fantastic, man. Like, let it be known that though we're salty about it, like he's been fantastic. And almost unplayable. Like I'm even looking at this lineup, just going, "There's nothing you can do." Like he's knocking down. He's so slight that he can get around these screens. Screens have
What
been a
it,
bit sketchy. Like, are we going to see 9 or 10 dodgy screen fouls a game? No, because it's the finals.
what what you need to do, I think, for this series is you need to have there needs to be a 3-set rotation that if you're coming over to Martin a double, someone's got to slide over to K and leave Martin
Mm.
open. I mean, they're smart enough. Gleason's smart enough to put them on opposite sides.
Well, that was we'll get to game 4 and we'll talk about that. But first, we'll talk about K. In that the adjustment that they made about 4 minutes ago in the second quarter was that they knew Newley was the guy coming over and double teaming Cotton, and he did it so well in game 2 where he was just like, that's the move. But then they just put K on Newley and were just like, all right, if you're double teaming off of K, well, he's wide open. And like every time he was at the nail, Cotton would just be like, K is over there, sweet, and K would just knock it down and just like, damn it. Like fair play on that too. I was like, yeah, okay, fair play. That's a good, nice little change up there. But K has just been fantastic this season, and I guess we've got to now find another solution, which I hope Will Weaver goes to the drawing board. To anything else in this game that we really want to talk about salt wise?
I think salt wise,
Newley was quite good.
Newley was great and shooting the ball well, getting to the hoop at will, and then did that second quarter, just scored 16 points, and then was quiet the rest of the night in terms of Newley, every quarter, that's what you do.
Push the ball, man. He was pushing the ball. When he pushes the ball, he's so dangerous. Like that's another thing. This team will push the ball and they'll just be one up with 4 back, and you're like, what's the point? Like we just pushed the ball, and then it took people another 4 seconds to get back over halfway, and you're just like, that's not the time to push the ball. Then we've got 1-on-3 or 3-on-3, and they don't push it, and you're just like, no, that's the time you push the ball. Like, what do you like? What? A few times like Bruce would just bring the ball up the floor and then just pull up, and then like I can understand if we're a team like the old Warriors team where you just set a couple of pin downs and suddenly someone would just be at the hoop unguarded basically, and you just toss the ball straight into them because they were smart enough to set these back screens and let guys roll off of that broken play in the half court. We just don't do that at all. And it's just so frustrating, man.
It is. It is very
so
frustrating.
Kevin Lish again was good. We didn't talk about Kevin Lish's crazy dagger in game 2, and he's just looking fantastic. And the other thing too, like I was listening to the SWA cast. Shout out to the SWA people, because I tweeted Matt McQuaid a couple of times. It was weird listening to their cast before you've rewatched a game. Like the weirdest thing, I listened to it in the car on the way home, and I was getting goosebumps. Like, oh yeah, I remember that. Like that's so clear in my mind when he's talking about it. He was talking about Kevin Lish and like Casper Ware doing a lot of the dog work on defense. And I was like, that's unlocked Kevin Lish. Like, he doesn't have to do all the dog work. He's obviously coming back from an injury. Kevin Lish is shooting the ball quite well. 3 of 7 in this game. I think, what was he? 5 of 7 in game 2. He was 3 of 6 in game 2. So pretty solid. He had that huge dagger. Now, I think we now need to go to, all right, Kevin Lish on Cotton and then let Casper Ware. But that's just you just don't want to do that. I just don't trust Ware. I just don't know what to do with Ware at this point.
No. I think you got to start Lish and Bruce, really. It's a shame Deshaun Taylor can't, Lucas Walker can't come down with COVID. Deshaun.
The league's over if he comes down with COVID. That's all
true.
over. Maybe we'll if we're down 20 in the third quarter, so we'll just go, someone's got COVID. And then that'll be the end of the series. But to go back to what you were talking about in terms of game 4, what we can do from here.
I think that we need to find a solution that doesn't. You need to keep K guarded and guard Cotton at all costs, and then move through allowing some of the other players to maybe, if Mitch Norton's on the floor or Jesse Wagstaff, then maybe let them take the open 3 if they need to. Then you're looking at a 1 and 3 instead of a 7 from 9. You can't leave Clint Steinel open because he is a pretty gun shooter when it's open. So you really have to look to Mitch Norton, Jesse Wagstaff, and Damian Martin as the weak shooting links at all costs and clamp down. Because K scored 30 and I think Cotton scored 31, which is 60% of their points.
And then Plumlee 13. That's probably the difference between the two teams. Tariq White has just been awful in this series.
Yeah, just trash.
And that's mainly our size. I think the Bryce Cotton gravity is drawing the kind of the backcourt out but we've got so much size in the front court to just kind of throw at White that he struggles. Like we've got Newley to throw at him, we've got Cooks to throw at him. Didi can sort of guard him as well. Kevin Lish has been doing a little bit of work on him as well. It's mainly that Cotton. Like I just don't know how you I just don't know how you stop Cotton, man. I've just been trying to watch it, just being like, he's just so slight around those screens. We go under, he shoots it. We go over it. Like a couple of times, you just want to see one of our guys just knock the screener out. Like some of these screens are pretty dodgy, and you're not like like I said before, you're not going to get 20 bad screen calls a game from dodgy screens. Although, like if they were calling it properly, like fair enough, both sides do it. But I want to see some more fight, like truck a dude over if he's setting a dodgy one, and like make the refs actually think about it. There was one where Damian Martin like stepped into Casper and almost like a football like hip and shoulder, and then he flopped, and then they're just like, oh no, it's just clearly clearly that's a foul from Casper, and I was like, he's just like, it was moving, like he stepped in, dropped the shoulder on him, and then again, how do you get closer to Cotton on those situations? Like Kay's screening really well, Wagstaff screening really well. Plumlee sets pretty good screens. I don't know. You go under, you get torched, you try and go through, you're just not quick enough, and he gets that trail. You guys have been stepping up a little bit more, and we're struggling. And then Steindl, seems to just get open and knock down shots. I don't know. Game 4.
I don't know.
What do we got to do? I'm just looking at the series, just going, I don't know, man. Like
hope.
Defensively, I can't see anything that that we can go right. We do this because our one big thing was like Newley coming off of and double teaming Cotton. Like that was our thing. It was like, bang, we shut you down, thanks. And then they were just like, oh, we'll just put K on him, and then K just knocked down shots, and you're just like, damn it, that was our one thing. I don't know, doubles with Diddy. I don't think Tate's really got the footwork or the speed to guard him. Kevin Lish, I would throw at him, but then you're asking Casper to do a lot of work on offense, which you probably don't want with him in this funk. Newley's been quite good, a little bit slow and a little bit grabby, but at the same time quite solid. We haven't really seen much of Moller. Sean Bruce has been getting a little bit torched as well. Kickett's kind of struggled. Defensively, I don't know. You just maybe hope to keep him under 100 and score, but with Casper, it's quite hard,
Yeah. He's got to put his shot away, and we've got to get better looks with other people, really.
He's got to watch that video, that Bogut Curry chemistry video, man, and just be like, I just got to like upload the moves into his veins and then just play like that, finding him open, because he's just going to knock down lobs, man, if he's open, because they can't guard, they can't get up that high.
Yeah.
So game 4, Friday, I don't know, I was feeling good after that game 2, and then game 3 happened and I was furious, and now I just feel like I can't see us winning from here, to be honest.
Well, it doesn't even matter. I don't think there will be a game 4. So I'm putting it out there, peoples, that I think that events over 50 people will be banned come Thursday. So I think that game won't go ahead.
Interesting. So we lose the series by default.
I don't know. Maybe they play the series later on in the year, give people the time to rest, maybe play some fans. But yeah, man, this coronavirus, I don't actually see life returning to normal this year.
Damn. I could have 6 months off. That'd be pretty good.
That would be good. Put the life on hold, all mortgage payments stopped. Chill out. I'd get through so many Xbox games. 20
put on about 60 kilos.
That's it, mate. Just turn into... Oh, no, because there'd be no food. Everyone's buying all the toilet paper and the pasta. So I'd be eating grass or dog food because no one's eating dog food. So
yeah, that's true. That could be good for everyone's workout regime. Become a marathon runner inside your own house on a treadmill.
Yeah, that's it. Course. That's it. Of course.
All right, so we'll be back probably Monday, and that's pretty much the end of the series, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, so that'll be the end of the year. We'll be back to wrap up the rest of the series, whether it ends on Friday or it ends on Sunday. Man, this Cotton thing, just don't know if we've got an answer to it.
We don't. We should probably mention that all things getting back to normal at the end of the year, which is what we want to see, is the league has secured, I think, 2 of the next rising stars in Mojave King for the Cairns Taipans and Josh Giddey for the Adelaide 36ers. And both these dudes are probably next level. I would even say on LaMelo Ball. I'd say Josh Giddey is kind of like a LaMelo Ball clone that can actually defend.
Mm.
And Mojave Kingman looks like an awesome shooting guard. So that's good to see. And they're Aussies as well. You know, they're going to be they're really high on the draft prospect list, but they're Aussies coming back to play here and play like a year of professional basketball before they get drafted. So that'll be cool.
Yeah.
And obviously the Tasmanian team, I think, enters the comp next season.
But how weird is it to just think society could just break down, man? This is it. This is it. The NBL's done. Start this podcast and that's it. 2 years in, just it's all over.
It's all over. Zombies take over, and
could be like Woody Harrelson in the 2012 movie in that camper. It's all coming to an end. The Kings back in the day, they were great. Ah, man, sucks. Just I feel a bit better now that I got that off my chest because I was just fuming. I think this is the worst I felt all of the last 2 years after a loss. Just being like, I was just furious, man, at this team. Just dumb shooting their way into like losing that game, basically. You know, just crazy stuff. But anyway, we'll wrap it up there, and we will be back on Monday to finish out the season. And we will see you guys next time
on the King's Dome.
Take it easy, peeps.
Stay safe.